Stop and ask any young person over here if they know any teenage prostitutes.
Really?
They would tell you, yeah. They'd tell you, yeah.
Sharon Saffold is a successful writer and speaker who lives in Atlanta, Georgia.
How you doing? I am doing well.
To look at her, you'd never know she once navigated these streets as a homeless kid. Today, she's out in Atlanta's neighborhoods, talking to teenagers about one of the city's biggest problems.
Hey, my name is Sharon.
It doesn't take her long to find young people, very young people, who know what she's talking about.
How many other women do you know that actually, young girls, do you know that have actually prostituted themselves out for money?
I would say at least 5 to 6.
What are your ages?
16.
And I'm 16. So you're two 16-year-olds. Do you know any teenagers?
Yes.
That are prostituting?
You know a couple of them.
You know a couple of them?
Yes.
So do you think there's a lot of teenagers that are prostituting?
Yes. Yeah, she got a price. She actually got a price on there. To do this is $10. I was like, no.
How old is the young lady with a price list?
She's 15.
Yeah, 15.
She's 15.
Mm-hmm.
The FBI says Atlanta has become a center for child prostitution, one of 25 American cities where the problem seems to be spinning out of control.
Bring me into the mind of a 15-year-old that would prostitute herself out.
Abuse, mother doing drugs, father in jail, being abused by her boyfriend, older brothers selling drugs. It's just crazy.
In recent years, the number of children bought and sold inside the U.S. has been growing steadily. Though it's hard to pin down, nationwide, it's estimated as many as 300,000 kids are at risk every day, on the streets, through escort services, and increasingly through the internet.
When you buy sex from our kids, you hurt them, you hurt our families, and you hurt our city.
This is Atlanta's mayor, Shirley Franklin. About 2 years ago, she commissioned this ad campaign promising to get tough on any adult buying sex from a minor.
I like them young, preteen. And Atlanta, it's a great place to buy young girls.
The spots, which ran for several weeks, were meant to be shocking.
I'm 12 years old. 12 years old.
Why prostitution? Why was that the issue that you said, this is what I want to tackle?
Well, frankly, no one else was talking about it. It's one of those issues that doesn't get discussed.
This sounds like it should be happening in far, far, far away countries.
Well, it is happening in Atlanta. It's 10 or 11 years old, and the age is getting lower. We're not talking about 17 and 18 and 19-year-olds, although we could. So you can have arrests, but if you don't have...
Mayor Franklin has pushed state and local law enforcement to throw the book at adult offenders, and she's backing initiatives to better protect children caught up in prostitution.
That hotel is for prostitutes.
But spend time with people close to the problem, and you quickly learn that the obstacles facing the nation's most outspoken mayor are many.
I commend our mayor because she's doing something, but she's going to need a whole lot of help. She's going to need a whole lot of help.
Welcome to Atlanta's Hammers and Bows.
This fast-growing city is home to some of hip-hop's biggest stars, as well as the Atlanta Braves and CNN. There's also a booming adult entertainment industry, strip clubs, escort services, and massage parlors that range from the upscale to the seedy. Sharon Saffold knows the seedy side all too well.
I know that there's teenagers that are out here prostituting themselves. And I know that this is a big haven for it. And I know that Johns know that if they come here, they can find what they're looking for.
By the time Sharon was 14, she'd been molested by a stepfather and kicked out onto the streets by her mother. Along the way, she joined a gang, sold drugs, and dated a pimp.
Well, this is the book that my sister and I co-authored.
Saffold's story, how she survived and grew up to be a motivational speaker, is told in her 3 books. Recently, she's also begun to speak out on the exploitation of children.
This is my Aunt Paulette, who's just a couple of years older than me. She's 3 years older than me.
As a teen, Sharon watched as several of her closest relatives spiraled into prostitution. She introduced us to one of them, her aunt, Paulette Clark.
Who are the Johns? Who were the Johns that you saw day in and day out?
family members, neighbors, pastors, tutors, teachers. It's anyone. You can put them in a hat and just draw.
Paulette started young and continued on and off until just a few years ago.
When you don't see the self-worth in you.
She says the first time she was paid for sex, she was 7 years old. It's not uncommon. Experts say the majority of women in the sex industry suffered sexual abuse at an early age, often at the hands of a close relative.
Don't tell nobody. Nobody's to know.
Who was telling you
did this?
Who was telling you to be quiet?
The uncle that I was being, fondled by. It's like, shh, I'll give you some money. Come on out here, So I grew up with the knowledge of knowing, don't tell nobody.
You got to understand, these women, the majority of these women have been molested before. So there is no sense of ownership to their bodies anymore.
Child abuse, poverty, and neglect, often coupled with some basic needs.
What's luring these women are things that you don't have to sleep with somebody to get. Just a vehicle, nails, and a hairdo, and a couple dollars in your pocket.
If I could go back, just in magic, and go back and somebody would have walked up to me and say, why are you doing this? And I can the honest factor would come out of my gut, I would probably say because I'm hurting inside.